Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I want to talk Lakers, even though I haven't made a Trae Young trade video. Y'all know Trae Young was traded for C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. It's done. I may make a video on it. I may not. I'll probably just talk about it periodically. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about my team, my Lakers. Because I think the tone that I had last night was a tone I stand by today, but it doesn't seem to be the tone of the consensus. Seems like most people were pretty encouraged by what they saw last night. Most of the talking heads were essentially saying, Lakers didn't really have a chance because they had to let LeBron not play the second of a back-to-back, and they thought Luka played amazing, they just felt like the Lakers did some good things out there in some areas that they can control and played with a lot of heart defensively, but just were going up against a Spurs team that they probably wouldn't have beat anyway. So we should be encouraged by what we saw based on the effort and just some of the things that we improved on, for which I didn't, identify. That ain't what I saw. That's just not what I saw. Like, guys, I can't even lie to you, man. I listened to my video that I made last night, and I still kind of feel the same way. It was pretty damn embarrassing, and we left a game on the table we probably should have been looking to beat. Very competitive in. And, the thing that made me turn on the camera was listening to the Hoop Collective. I think they call it the Hoop Collective. I'm not sure. It's Jason Timpf and Jovan Buha and my man from Laker Nation. Essentially what they were talking about was Ayton. And, I think we all agree that Ayton has not been playing as well as he should be. I think we all agree that the Lakers do have some things to consider about the center position. He might not be our long-term solution. But there are some things that I want to say about that conversation. Well, not about the conversation, but just to add to the conversation. I'm very happy that Ayton is here because we've been without a legitimate center for a couple of years now with respect to AD, who I don't think is a center. But he's been forced to play center, and I'm very happy that we have somebody who's a center, who is traditionally a center, who wants to play the center position. But I also understand that, we're a historical franchise with history of having guys like Powell and Shaq and Wilt, and Kareem, and George Mikan, and we Dwight. We've had some really, really decorated centers, and Ayton has some tall shoes to fill. For me, though, I think the thing with Ayton is to first identify what he is and what he's not. He is not a banshee center, dirty work center. That is not what he is. He is an offensive scorer who can make a million shots. He's just like some type version of a Rui at the center position. Rui's a guy who's not going to do a bunch of banshee stuff, but if you give him 16 shots, he probably hit 12 of them. That's Ayton. His shooting percentages are sky high this year. He's shooting 67% from the field. So if I want to talk about what I'm getting out of Ayton versus what it is you need him, what you expect him to be, then we should be very pleased with Ayton because he's hit every dang shot we've given him pretty much. He's been very, very reliable. And as I said many times, he masked a lot of our deficiencies around the perimeter with his efficiency. When we talk about why it's so important that the Lakers take high percentage shots, it's because the Lakers can't make up for it rebounding the ball necessarily, and we certainly can't make up for it on the defensive end, not with how our unit is set up. We need to be able to connect on shots, and he makes sure that the shots that he takes often go in. And he rebounds pretty well, not consistent. He's on a bad streak with that. But through the course of the start of the season, we got some good rebound performances and some good rim protecting performances. He was playing outside of what your expectations were for him at start the season. I didn't think that was sustainable, and it hasn't been. But the idea of Ayton, if we're assessing him correctly, is to be pleased with the opportunity to make a lot of shots. A high consistent volume center. Highly consistent with the scoring specifically. Problem is you have to feature him. He's reliant, just like Rui. This is why I compare him to Rui in a way, because he's going to give you a lot of makes for every attempt. but he's only as good as you get him the ball. He's not going to create for himself. He's not an off-the-dribble kind of guy. Centers need the ball to be passed to him. You know? And if you only get Shaq 9 shots a game, he's only going to average 14 points, just like any, that's what it would be if he was Shaquille. That would be what it would be if he were Moses Malone. That's what it is for all those type of centers. You know what I mean? You got to get them the ball, and then when they have the ball, you can then get out of them whatever it is they give you. And so if he's only getting 9 attempts up, just like with Rui, that's a systematic problem. You know what I mean? And so I think I believe it was Jovan Buha that pointed out that he's been really, really good against sub 500 teams and really, really bad in the big games against teams like Houston and OKC, San Antonio. My question is, when these big games come around, do we have a situation where stars are then taking all the damn shots because it's a big game and stars know it's a big game and they're going to do all of what they do and they're not looking for him? As to where in games against Sacramento or somebody, stars kind of pull back a little bit and we tend to look to feature other people because we know we can get away with it? Or is it a situation where he's not doing enough with what it is he can control? And I'm thinking it's the former, if I'm being completely honest with you. When a big game come around, Luka's taking 30 shots, all of them from behind the arc, step back threes. You know what I'm saying? Or grifting for 3-point, for fall away bank shots that can get him to the line. Some of those possessions have to be sacrificed. And it seems like the only time we're willing to really sacrifice those attempts is in games against Sacramento and Dallas and them. When it's a big game against the Rockets or the Spurs or something like that, we don't do that. You tend to put the ball in the hands of your star, not realizing that you're more likely to make the shots that go to the high percentage scoring guys. It's like, okay, in theory, your best bet is to put the ball in the hands of the star, and the star gives you the best look. But when you have these hyper efficient offensive guys who are reliant on others to get them the ball, your best looks by percentages is actually getting them to rock because they never miss. Luka gonna miss 7-8 threes a night. He gonna turn the ball over on about 7 of those possessions too. That's 14 possessions right there, thrown away. But Ayton goes 8 for 12 when he gets his 12 looks. So if you take some of those possessions that get thrown away in the star's hands because he's not as efficient and put it in the hyper-efficient scoring hands, suddenly you've connected on more possessions. That is actually your better look. And so this is where things get tricky because you have to say from a systematic perspective, is the coach identifying any of this? And in identifying this, does he have the stomach to do it? And that is what I think is really going on there, man. We let Luka run amok, and I love Luka to death. I like that he's the leading scorer in the NBA. But we are getting blown out in the games that we're losing, and it's because we can't defend and because we're too reliant upon somebody who is not overly efficient at all. Luka is not the most efficient player. He's a heavy volume guy if given the green light, just like anybody can be. You can tell Nick Smith he can take 30 shots, he gonna take them. You gotta reel anybody in, and especially superstars. And with a guy like Luka who has a hyper ability to pass the rock in the tight windows and stuff like that, he's pretty talented in that area. All I gotta do is set a system up that's gonna have a pecking order in place to say, this guy shoots 67% from the field. We need to assure at least 15 shots go his way every night. We're going to run enough plays to assure that is what's going on. And Luka, you're my point guard. I'm going to run it through you. We're not going to just take a step back shot just because you think you can shoot over this person. That's not going to give me the highest percentage shot. It's running this play that's going to get Ayton involved and let him work from his spots that's going to ultimately be more likely to win us the possession that we're in. And we can't afford to throw away possessions. So this is how we're running our system. And this, if we do this and Ayton gives me 8 points and 6 rebounds, then we can look at Ayton and say, all right, Ayton's not getting it done. He's getting 16 shots up. He's missing most of them. He's not rebounding the ball. We're trying to feature him. Nothing's happening. But if you're not featuring the reliant player, then you can always look at what he's not doing when you're not getting the ball and say some bull crap like he's not doing enough. You see what I'm saying? That's very easy to do. Rui's taking 2 shots, and everybody's saying, why is Rui only taking 2 shots? It's because we're not running plays to assure that Rui gets more shots, and he can't create for himself. Now, if you're going to get mad at Rui for not creating for himself, that's your business. You can do that. But you knew who he was when you brought him to your team. And if you don't sit up there and harp on that too much, and you focus on making sure he gets the ball, he going to make 14 to 16. So, like, we can be mad at anybody for what it is they can't do. Freaking Shaq can't hit free throws. What the heck? Freaking Kobe don't average 3 blocks. What the heck? You see what I'm saying? That's not really a thing. You just got to identify what a guy is and what he's not, and be able to live without what he's not and feature what it is that he is. And if we do that wrong from player to player to player, we can convince ourselves anybody sucks. You see what I'm saying? So that's my take on the Ayton thing. For $8 million, I think we all agree that he's worth that for us. For the fact that we haven't had a center in place to legitimately play this position in almost 4 years, we're definitely all happy he's here. And I think it would be smart for us to lock him up for a couple of years, no matter really what he does, just for the sake of how hard it is for us to find a center that can actually play some damn basketball for us. I think it would be damn foolish for the Lakers to trade Ayton away with the intention to find another center a different kind of way, because you haven't been able to find any. So while we're looking at Ayton and identifying whether the right way or the wrong way that we're not pleased with what he's doing, we need to understand that you do not want to be a part of this unit without him. I can tell you that. I just want to put that out there very clearly. You remove him from this team, and this team is significantly worse. If all we've got down there is Maxi Kleber and let's say Jackson Hayes, boy, is this team probably lost 9 more games. 9, 10 more games we've lost. So that's what I want to say, man. We have too many natural deficiencies with athleticism, inefficient superstars, guys who are prone to be out, dead weight players who ain't going to do much of anything when you play them. We have too many deficiencies to not say, okay, this guy hits over 50% of his field goals every night. Let's get him the ball more than not. That guy does too. They need to be our guys that are shooting the most. We can't afford to throw possessions away. We can't afford to not play the percentages properly. And this is my problem with JJ Redick, because he doesn't identify that in the way that I need him to in order to make us a competitive basketball team. It is no coincidence that the Lakers continue to get blown out in every loss that we suffer. Every loss that we suffer has been 10 or more points. All of them. Every single one of them. That's a problem, man. And on the other end, we never lose any close games. That's awesome, because it speaks to just how deadly we can be if we push all of our best stuff to the front of the line and only have like 20 possessions from which to do it. In the last 5 minutes of the game, that's what you do. You have some of the most incredible talent in the league when you put LeBron, Luka, and Austin on the floor with Ayton and maybe whoever the fourth guy is. Suddenly, your efficiency is ridiculous, because you got these two. Well, in our case, it would be Rui and Ayton. 2 guys that are going to shoot probably 60% every night if you give them enough looks. And then fantastic guys who are likely going to get their calls down the stretch of a basketball game. Luka the Don, who's going to make 3-point plays and stuff like that. LeBron James, who's going to draw all types of defense away from Austin and Luka, and Austin, who can also be fantastic. Of course, you're going to beat everybody down the stretch, because when you have those players on the floor for just a couple of minutes and you're forced to win a game with these superstar guys, yeah, they're going to win game. They're going to beat whoever's on the floor. They're better than who's ever on the floor in those clusters of moments. But what happens in the 43 minutes leading up to that? Do you see what I'm saying? What happened? What took place throughout the course of that time? And that's where we struggle. And if we don't find a way to be competitive through 3 quarters, we likely got blown out. And so that's my take on things. I think that we need to. I think the Los Angeles Lakers really do need to just kind of play play the trade market. If there's anything out there, try to canvas ourselves to get better. But also, it's for me, it's probably more so just changing our setup in the pecking order from which our offense rotates. Luka will still be the number 1 option. Austin still be number 2. Bron still be number 3. But our offensive looks from possession to possession has to make those guys into passers a bit more than they're asked to be. I need Luka to average about 10 assists and maybe 28 points instead of the 34 that he's in, because he's throwing too many possessions away trying to get him to his numbers, man. He is a natural born turnover machine. I love him to death, and I definitely do not want him off my team. I'm happy he's here. I'm thrilled we traded him for what we got him for, all of that. But you have to have athletes and rim protectors around him in order for him to play the way he likes to play. Green light, 3-point shots up every night. He don't make enough shots. You're going to hemorrhage on the defensive end off the strength of our natural weaknesses, and it's just going to be that. He's going to get his numbers, and he's going to get beat. This is just what's been going on, you guys. And at a stretch of the game, after him doing all that stuff, he's tired as hell. So now you need LeBron James to walk the ball up and close the game out, because Luka's tired, because he's been doing all that stuff, running up, grifting and falling all over the floor, trying to get to the line a million times, where he going to miss 6 free throws. I mean, it's like, I've been listening to a lot of people to say things, it's easy to throw stones at Luka right now when the Lakers aren't playing well. I hear people comparing him to James Harden, saying he's a weaker version of James Harden. I'm hearing people say that his game is not fun to watch, because they say it's a hard watch because of all the grifting that he does and all the three-point shooting that he does and the lack of athleticism. So it's easy to throw stones, but there's truth in everything these people are saying, man. There's truth in all of it. As a Laker fan, I've been watching him now for about a year. There's truth in all of it. A lot of what it is he does is James Harden-esque. You know what I mean? It is. It's a lot of threes, a lot of getting to the line, a lot of offense, not a whole lot of defense. And it is a hard watch, just being honest, because he does tend to settle for shots that he should not take. So, this is what it comes down to. I need him to tap into his passing gene, and I just need him to mature to value possessions more, man. If you're going to be the star of this team, you got to know what your team cannot do, and then make sure that you make up for it on the other end in areas that give us the best chance to assure that the possession is secure. Secure possessions. And that is where the Lakers suffer, man. We just do not have that logic in place. Our coach, I don't know what the hell's going on with JJ. To me, it just seems like he's just trying to figure things out. He's like he's in a whirlwind or so. I don't know what the hell's going on with him, man. This pertains to his system. It's Luka, go. And if you let Luka go without giving Luka instruction, you know who suffers? Rui. Ayton. Because Luka just going to do a step back, shoot, brick, other way, layup. And if that happens enough times, you lost. And it's happening enough times. And so that's my thing, man. If JJ got to run a damn system, bro. You got to run a damn system. A pick and roll, something with a concerted effort to assure that the players that need the ball in order to be their best get the damn ball enough times to make sense. That's it for me. When it comes down to it, that is why the Lakers are suffering in the areas they are. That they can control these things and they're not is why we are not as good as a team as we need to be, man. So that's something. Something that I was looking at last night. I'm not a basketball player. What the hell do I know, right? But I have been, paying attention to this sport from the outside looking in for a long time. It was a one possession Nick Smith yesterday. It seemed to me that he was waiting for the defense to get set up in order to attack it. Did anybody else see that? I don't know if that's what I was seeing or not. Maybe he was waiting for his offense to get set up and simultaneously the defense also gets set up. Maybe that was how the floor was supposed to be spread a certain way. I don't know. But it seemed to me that it would have made a lot more sense for him to attack the defense while their backs were turned in scramble mode. And it was as if he backed the ball up, waiting for the defense to set before he attacked. That's backwards to me. That's absolutely backwards to me. So I just wanted to point that out because I didn't mention it in my post-game video last night, and it really just blew my mind. I'm like, why are you waiting for them to get stationary before you attack them? That was crazy to me. And all he had to do was rush at the rim. They had people with their backs turned, people turned in different directions because it was a live ball defensive situation. We had gotten the ball, I think, off an offensive rebound or something. And he just sat back, he backed up, wait for the defense to set up. They're all facing him. And then he goes. I must have threw my phone when I saw that. I'm like, is this dude serious? Who taught him to do that? That is the opposite of what I think point guards should be doing in that situation. You need to take advantage of the defense when they're backpedaling, when their backs are turned, when they're scrambling off the offensive board. You need to take advantage of any opportunity you have to attack a defense. You do not wait for the defense to get set up before you attack. And of course they stopped him. He didn't get nothing out of that play, but I'm like, yo, bro, I don't know what part of basketball that is, but it's the opposite of anything I've ever seen. That's the opposite of anything I ever did in a video game. That's the opposite of I ain't never in my life seen somebody wait for the defense to get set up in order to attack them. Unless the only time something like that appeared to be that way and it made any sense is when it's time expiring, less than a full shot clock. Specifically Kobe's waiting for a certain moment to attack. That's when you actually see that sequence. Because it doesn't make sense for him to go based on the clock. That wasn't the situation that was going on right there with Nick Smith. He was literally waiting for everything to get stationary so he could go. And for me, I was just like, unless I just don't understand things like I need to, that was the opposite of what he should have been doing in that situation. And I would hope that if I'm right, our coaching staff pulled his coattail about that and to assure that that is something that he doesn't do again. Wait for the damn defense to set up before you attack it. What the hell was that? Anyway, so that's something I just wanted to say. Yeah, man. What else is going on? Los Angeles Lakers, at the end of the day, man, we just can't seem to be any good teams. And, our roster is obviously struggling with things that really is outside of its control. And, we kind of just got to live with that, which is why I wish our coach for me, I just wish he trusts our young guys. That's what it's going to be for me until I see that. I was so disappointed with our rotations last night, mainly because he was trying to work Gabe Vincent back into it. And look, Gabe Vincent is a player on this roster who has cachet, who's been to an NBA Finals. JJ Redick and him pretty much from the same generation. So, and JJ and him pretty much the same height. So JJ appreciates everybody ever putting him on the floor. So he, kind of like a kinship, I guess, is what I'm guessing is going on there. All of that, be damned, bro. I really need Gabe Vincent off of this roster, man. I really do. Because this coach is going to keep running him like he's Taurean Prince. And it is to the detriment of the development of some of our other players, our overall team height, our team athleticism, our team offensive capabilities. Some of our defense, depending on how he's running, depending on who he's going up against, he may be able to defend. But he's usually getting shot over. He's usually not able to get a stop, man. Occasionally he might pick up a loose ball or steal a ball of somebody or something like that. But for the majority of the time, he's getting exposed defensively. You got him guarding people like Keldon Johnson, Keldon backing him down, shooting over him, man's one. It's like, if that's what I'm leaving myself open to have happen, I always believe it makes more sense for me to put a guy like Nick Smith or Bronny James on the floor. I can get beat the same way, but at least I'm getting a young player more time to get better, and their ceiling far exceeds what Gabe Vincent is capable of doing. It's just like, it's very, very frustrating for me, and I think that was a big part of why I was more frustrated than most, because I hate when he's on the floor, and he was out there for a good 19 minutes last night. I didn't think it was his worst game. He didn't turn the ball over. He hit 2 threes. That was really cool. But the majority of what I saw out there, he was a -10, I think it was. I can get that same possession from a young guy who can potentially get better. I'm really sick of saying that too, so I don't even imagine how tired you are of hearing it. Salute the Kobe minute. This is how I feel, man. I just dread every single time he checks the man in, bro. It's getting out of hand. For me, it's like, damn, it makes me not even want to watch the Lakers. Like, okay, he's going to put Gabe in the game. All right. He's got Gabe next to whomever he's out there with. All right. All right, let's see what happens. And it's a whole lot of nothing. Or it's Gabe getting hunted out, because as soon as the other team sees Gabe, they're going to immediately try to exploit him one way or another. I just am really going to celebrate the day we move on from Gabe Vincent, man. This has been 3 years of horror with this guy. 3 years of absolute horror. I wasn't all that unhappy to see us sign him 3 years ago, but it's just been bad the whole time, man. Whole damn time. And now, we've gotten a new coach, But that coach seems to love Gabe Vincent even more than Darvin did, man. So it's like, God, I don't know what Gabe did in Miami that makes people believe in him so much, bro, honestly. Because even when Gabe was with Miami, he was injured a good portion of the time. Even when Gabe was with Miami, he didn't harbor any fantasy value for longer than a week or two. Like, he was never really that great of a player. I thought he had a pretty good playoffs when they went to the finals, but against Denver in the finals, he had a horrible series. So I'm still trying to figure out what people saw in Gabe Vincent. I never got it. Maybe it's because I have such an affinity for players of his height who are good at making others better, and he doesn't. You feel me? Like, he's not going to get me 8 or 9 assists. He don't have floor vision like that. That's not who he is. And so for me, I always think players like that are a nuisance. I just don't think there's any purpose for them dudes. Unless they have ridiculous scoring ability, for which he definitely doesn't have. Or ridiculous defensive ability, like Avery Bradley, for which he definitely doesn't have. So it's like, what am I doing with this guy? Why is he even on any team at all, is really what I have to say. He doesn't have any particular strengths that I can utilize. And he has weaknesses that the offense can come at him against. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's personality-wise, politics, I don't know what it is. For whatever reason, people just have this high affinity for this player. And I've never seen it. And now that he's been on my team for 3 years, it's worse than I thought. To be honest, it's worse than I thought. And so I don't blame the field for not trading for him, even as an expiring contract, because you don't never want to check him in. You don't ever actually want this guy to check into your basketball game, bro. I can't think of one team off the top of my head that would be better for having him there, unless he's a coach. You know what I'm saying? If he's a coach, it's a totally different story. He's probably a great coach. He's probably a nice player to have, helping young guys learn how to be professionals, like a big bro. He seems like a cool guy, believe me. This ain't about him personally. This is about him as a basketball player. I don't see it. I never have. And now we're in the twilight of his career, so to speak, and we're using him so much to the detriment of the development of other players and to the detriment of our height, etc. And it really does make for a hard watch for me. It makes my team very difficult to watch, man. And that was a big part of why my morale was so low watching that game last night, because Gabe Vincent was back. And my coach doesn't feel the same way I do about this player. So I have to watch this guy, you know what I'm saying? And it's a problem. It's a real problem for me at this point. It makes my team almost unwatchable. It really does. And so I believe that, people in the front office may be listening to me, man. I'm just a fan. But I'm telling you, man, I probably, if Gabe Vincent wasn't out there, I don't think my attitude would have been as bad last night. I don't think so. I'm just being honest. So that's part of my overall frustration with last night's game. I think that's what separates me from a lot of talking heads. They saw a lot more positive in that game because I'm so low on Gabe Vincent. Then they may not be as low on him as I am. So yeah, man, I thought Max Kleber played a valiant game, man, but he's kind of the same thing. I just don't think he has any strengths in this league that I can utilize. Maybe I underestimate him defensively because he did put up a nice defensive effort last night against Wemby. So, I just don't think he's really good at anything, if I'm being honest. I don't think he's horrible at anything necessarily, but I think he's pretty much below average at just about everything, Max Kleber at this point. And so he's another guy that I think is pretty much dead weight, but I found myself complimenting his effort several times this season. So it is what it is, man. I think he's a positive pro, but I don't think I should be having him in rotation at all. He or Gabe Vincent should be down the bottom of our rotation, man, in street clothes every night. I really believe that. And guys like Chris Magnon, and when Adu is healthy, should be probably in regular rotation to help fix our athleticism issue, our wing issue, our just overall speed issue. And I just think that we triple and quadruple down on a lack of athleticism We get older, we get shorter when we use these players. You know, it just is what it is. That does not. It makes what we already have troubles with worse. And I just think it's hopeless when the coach doesn't agree. You know, it's just absolutely hopeless. And you know, you grow frustrated, and even more so, as I always say about the Lakers, we've been kind of going through this type of thing for several years. Every year there's somebody like this. Every year there's a Westbrook or a Taurean Prince or what's that dude's name? It's always somebody that I just hate seeing on my basketball floor each and every year. When I was a kid, it was a guy or two. It's always something with the Lakers where it's just a guy who you just see in rotation every night and just wish to God they would waive him, man. It was always somebody. And so for me, it's just a long-term fatigue. And I just wish that I loved everybody on the team all the time from here on out. I wish that would be what would be possible, man. Like, you know what I mean? I wish it wasn't. It was. I mean, I'm telling you, every year, man, it's always something. Kendrick Nunn, Troy Murphy. When I was a kid, it was guys like Travis Knight. I wasn't a big fan of. Who else? I can think of dudes, man. What was that dude that we had? Oh man, I can't think of his name. The one that got caught up in some trouble, but he couldn't hit a shot for us. He went to Detroit and was balling out. And we used to put him on the floor in these small ball rotations. He didn't do nothing for us most of the time. He was awful. I can't think of his name. His name not coming to mind. But Beasley, Malik Beasley. Oh my God, Malik Beasley. It's always somebody, bro. Like, you just get to a point where, like, as a Laker fan, between me and y'all, it drives me crazy. Because I don't think every team has this problem where there's always one guy that you just wish wasn't on the team, a Taurean Prince, that you just don't be here and everything's cool. We always have that guy on our roster, man. It's been that way my entire life. My entire life, man. You know? I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's a couple of them that I've forgotten about, too. Thank God I just don't remember these players. Luke Walton used to be that way for me. I couldn't stand Luke Walton as a player. We had him for like 8 years. And I thought he was just horrible, man. I really did. Who else? I try to think of more guys, man. I didn't like Sean Rooks. Rest in peace, Sean Rooks. Salute. But I was not a fan of Sean Rooks when I was a kid. Didn't like seeing him come in the game. Who else, man? Was his name Cook? I think his name was Cook back in the Kobe days. He was a stretch four. I didn't like him. He used to irritate the hell out of me when he come in the game. Who else, man? There's a few others, man. There was a guy that we got. I don't remember this brother's name at this point. Dark-skinned dude that we had back when we had all the young players on the team. He was like the Kendrick Nunn before Kendrick Nunn. We kept him for like 2 years. He used to always miss layups. Eventually, he started getting his jump shot going in year 2, but year 1, he was just an absolute nuisance. I don't remember what this brother's name was. He was a guard. Couldn't stand seeing him out there. Couldn't stand it. And so you see, this is why I'm like, yo, at this point, Gabe Vincent, bro, you were just another version of that. I've been dealing with this my whole life, where there's always a dude on the floor that I think is absolutely trash that we keep using over and over again. Robert Sacre. You see what I'm saying? Sacre was really tough to watch a lot of the time, bro. My man Kwame Brown, although I didn't find myself disliking Kwame Brown, he just was really, he struggled so bad out there a good portion of the time. Big fan of what he does today, but this was like 20 years ago. It was a struggle, man. Yeah, man, I'm telling y'all. So for me, at this point, it's just a long-term fatigue with this type of thing, and I really want this to end. As a Laker fan, I just want going forward to just not dislike a player so much that they draw away from my enjoyment of the basketball game. And for everybody, there may be something different, so who knows? Maybe for you it's something else, but I don't know, man. I just, at this point, I'm tired of this, man. And then the coaches, you know, they like these players. They play these people. You actually see them. And they end up benching people that you want to see more. And that's kind of how that's been the whole time as well. It's not just that I didn't want to see those guys, it's that I did want to see somebody else that the coach didn't really like that much. He never played them. And so in this era, it's It's now the young guys. I want to see the young guys. And but I get a heavy dose of Gabe Vincent, Torian Prince. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, please make it stop. Please. So that's what I'm sharing with you guys. I appreciate y'all letting me vent about that. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what I gotta say, man. I think I got it all out. We do play the Bucks tomorrow. I'm all caught up on all the Bucks stuff. I watched them against Golden State last night. Steph Curry was dancing and prancing all over them. Bucks are so miserable. Giannis needs to get out of there, man. I'm sorry, Giannis. I know you want to be on one team your whole career, and you've won a championship there. The fans love you. You probably got a real enriched roots in that situation, having been developed there and all of that. I respect it. Just understand that you're going to go down with the ship, bro. You're not going to win. Last night was one of those nights where Draymond Green was bumping up against you, got in Draymond's face. That's the game that you want to be able to beat Draymond. You never had a chance of beating Draymond that night. You didn't. You see what I'm saying? Draymond gets to push you around, push you to the ground, and walk away a victor. That's beneath Giannis. He should never have to experience that again, man, honestly. If somebody punks him like that, he should be able to get 50 points and the team around him be good enough to lift him above the fray. And he just did not have a chance. He could talk all he wants. He could say he a better player. But at the end of the day, Dre was on a better team. that for me, that moment just solidified for me that, Giannis, you can't stick your chest out playing for this franchise anymore, bro. They're not going to back you up like you need to be backed up. They put themselves in a hole, and you need to get the hell out of there, bro. And so that's my take on Giannis. That ain't got nothing to do with the Lakers unless we make it have something to do with the Lakers by rescuing him from that situation, which I don't expect we're going to do. But yeah, free Giannis, man. He needs to get out of there. And I just hope that he allows himself the freedom to leave, move on from that place. It's okay to move on, man. Trae Young got up out of Atlanta, found himself in a place in Washington. I think it's going to go well. Giannis need to do the same thing, man. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. Look out for AD potentially being traded to Atlanta. I think they're probably trying to make that happen. I don't know if AD wants to go to Atlanta or not, but it looks like they're trying to. The smoke is starting to show up that AD may be a Hawk. I think they're going to be a great defensive team. If they put him over there with Dyson Daniels and them dudes, I think they're going to be ridiculously good defensively. Pairing him up with a Kongwu, I think that could be really nice for AD. I really do. I think it would be nice, depending on what they give up. And if they don't have to give up a whole lot, I think it's going to be nice. Now, I think that the package centered around Reece Shea. I would want Reece Shea on that team because he's an excellent perimeter defender, wiry, dunking guy. You want him next to AD. I would not want to move on from Reece Shea, but you got to give up something. So, yeah. And then Reece Shea in Dallas. That's pretty interesting if he can develop properly. If he stays who he's been, that's not as interesting as Dallas needs it to be to make that make sense. I actually think Reece Shea should be here in LA, and we've been talking about that for about 24 hours now. I've been mentioning that. I want Reece Shea in LA. He should be right here. But that's a whole nother story, man. What can I say, bro? I just want my Lakers to pick up players like Reece Shea so that we can have their athleticism that makes it so that we're not so hell-bent on giving the ball to our third and fourth options more so that we can capitalize on possessions more so that we can make up for our defensive deficiencies. There won't be defensive deficiencies. You'll feel a lot better about whatever possessions get thrown away from making your superstars take 1,000 shots. And so that's really my point of view, man. The turnovers Luka has, the turnovers Bron has, the missed three-point shots on bad percentage shooting nights that Luka and Austin may have, the defensive lapses that LeBron may have just because he's 41 years old and don't feel like working hard on this possession. All of those things don't hurt as bad when you can make up for it in other areas. But this unit, it really can't. And I just need my coaching staff to cater what it's going to do going forward around that being a reality that we do not avoid. BDL 44, I thank you all for watching.